Good evening to all our Tri-Town viewers, and welcome to another episode of the Tri-Town Rundown.
We are here again to keep you up to date with all the important events that are occurring in our area.
The town of Mattapoisett has been granted $67,800 from the state of Massachusetts. This is part of a $2.2 million grant in an effort to prepare coastal towns for future climate change and sea rises. Water Department Superintendent Henry Reynolds hopes to use part of these funds to replace a water pipe located at Peases Point. The new pipe would be buried deeper, lined inside and out, and have a lifespan close to 75 years. In other news, property owner Craig Canning is advancing in his plan to open a new fertilizer distribution center near Kings Highway. The complex will consist of 6 buildings that will store pre-packaged fertilizer. No processing or production of any kind will happen at the plant. The buildings are purely for storage and distribution. Each building will be approximately 7,200 square feet and will be well hidden from public view. The Rochester Board of Selectmen have laid down some new ground rules in preparation for this upcoming country fair. In response to multiple complaints from local residents, the Selectmen set up new preliminary regulations such as no fireworks, all activities must be over by 10 p.m. and not begin before 7 a.m., no overnight camping is allowed except for approved groups during the country fair, no bonfires, and all other use of the fairgrounds must be approved by the Selectmen. The fair begins August 18th, and I look forward to getting coverage of the events. Mattapoisett recreation activities are now open for registration. The recreation activities will be held in the fall and will include flag football, fit kid, gymnastics and tumbling, martial arts, tennis lessons, fencing, dodgeball, science is fun, and center stage kids. For more information and to register, go to www.mattrec.net.
I think it's great that the town received the grant for the coastal flooding. It's always good to stay ahead of the game and prepare for the worst.
I agree.
In a horrible story in the great city of Boston, a 17-year-old boy vandalized the New England Holocaust Memorial, marking the second time the monument has been damaged in 2 months, police say. The suspect, who was tackled by 2 witnesses before police arrived, is charged with willful and malicious destruction of property. This is a heartless act, and I hate to see it. Local residents Carly Drew, Maeve Garetti, and Sean Lally will be collecting donations for military personnel during a collective drive in September. The drive will take place from 10 a.m. to noon on September 2nd at Old Rochester Regional Junior High School. Items collected will be sent to the Massachusetts Military Heroes Fund to create care packages for local veterans, as well as veterans deployed abroad. They are hoping to receive instant powdered drink mixes, instant coffee, instant powdered creamer, lemonade, Gatorade, bubblegum, and chewing gum. All donated items must be in solid or powder form, as liquids cannot be shipped abroad. In other news, the Marion Art Center is looking for talent to perform in their upcoming production. This fall, they will be enacting Art, a play written by Yasmina Reze and translated by Christopher Hampton. They are looking for auditions for 3 different characters. The auditions will be held from 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, August 22nd, and Thursday, August 24th, at the Marion Art Center. For more information, visit SipicanVillageSoup.com.
I hope the Art Center succeeds in finding the talent they need for their production. And now, we're going to take a look at a historical piece that me and the crew have been working on about the Mattapoisett Town Wharf. Let's take a look at how it came out. Mattapoisett, a seemingly small Cape town with a gargantuan history. As part of the historically rich Tri-Town, Mattapoisett holds its own when contending with its two sister towns, Marion and Rochester. In fact, Mattapoisett began as a small religious group in the town of Rochester itself that eventually decided to split off and form its very own coastal community. In the early days, Mattapoisett depended solely on the economy of its neighboring towns, Rochester and Marion, because it was such a small town it couldn't sustain itself. But eventually, this small little town was able to build itself a renowned shipmaking and whaling industry right here in the waterfront. This small new community began to kick off its ship manufacturing history in 1752. Not too long after, in 1756 to be exact, the first wharf was established here in Mattapoisett in what we know today as Shipyard Park. This wharf was originally named Barstow Wharf after its creator, Sir Gideon Barstow. The wharf was later known as Short Wharf. Gideon and his family originally built the wharf from rubble stone, but granite was eventually added to the structure from the old Mattapoisett Neck Quarry. And by 1812, Long Wharf, Middle Wharf, and Holmes Wharf all assembled at Shipyard Park to create a booming maritime industry. In 1834, the Mattapoisett Wharf Company was founded by local stockholders. And with such an established maritime industry, local shipmakers went on to build famous boats such as the Wanderer, which if you live in the Tri-Town, you've probably heard the name before. The owners of the Wanderer, Gifford and Cummings, came from New Bedford to the Mattapoisett wharves for the construction of the new boat. The Wanderer was the very last whaling vessel to be built in the town of Mattapoisett, and it was also the very last vessel of its kind in general to be constructed in the town as well. The Wanderer saw many voyages, reaching as far as San Francisco Bay and many other destinations in the Northern Atlantic and Northern Pacific. During the ship's construction on land, the buildings surrounding it paled in comparison to the size of it. This ship was absolutely gargantuan. After a long life of many voyages, the beast eventually met its maker and was struck down by a huge tropical storm system out near Cuttyhunk Island. Now the crew was able to make it out alive, but the ship had reached its final resting place. And part of the mast was taken and preserved and used as a flagpole in Shipyard Park until eventually it was struck down by one faithful lightning bolt. The remainders of the mast can be found at the Mattapoisett Historical Society Museum and Carriage House. Well, that's all that I have for you today. It's very exciting learning new things about the local history of the town. If you're interested in learning more, stay tuned in for more episodes or check out your local historical society or their website. I'm Connor Farney, and thank you for watching. Well, that about does it for this week's episode.
We hope you had a great night and tune in for the next
Tri-Town Rundown.
Harvey County.